Off Meta Week is about to begin, and we're going to start off with one of my personal favorites from OG Classic Diablo back in vanilla, the Zombie Bear Witch Doctor. If you ever wanted to command a squad of undead bears rising from the earth to maul the hell out of your enemies, Season 22, now's your chance. Sorry about that, DiCaprio, and yeah, too soon? Season 22 brings some changes to the Zombie Bear Witch Doctor build, which we're going to cover in the video. We're going to talk about the rotation. We're going to talk about the new items that they added. We're going to go through everything. But first, I want to showcase the gameplay for you guys. If you're new to my PTR videos, I test everything with 800 Paragon, no augments, less than 100 legendary gem levels. And I'll typically run 100 to 110 to show you guys real testing, like a realistic clear what you can accomplish. As you can see in the top right corner, this is my live stream footage. Since the PTR is down, I have to pull footage from other sources. But yeah, this is a GR 110 with those low parameters. And we are struggling compared to other classes, excuse me. Yeah, compared to other classes, we are struggling, right? But this build arguably went from literal non-existence, like not even really in the game, like just completely dead, so far off meta, it's like a challenge rift build, to now you can run a 110 with it. This is actually a clear that I did with Zombie Bear, right? So you can see the hordes of zombies just shooting out of my character, right? Killing everything. And you can see the elite on a 110 with, again, 800 Paragon. Things start to ramp up over time and you start to get a lot of damage in on the mobs. This build's going to be on my website, so make sure you go to bloodshed.com, check there. It's going to be updated. I'm probably going to play with this a little bit next season to get a feel for it more, to get some more hours with the build and to tweak it further. So always check the website for the latest and greatest versions of the build. But I wanted to show it from here because this one was a struggle. It wasn't like a forest map or it wasn't a god map, you know. This was just like a normally kind of a bad map with a traditionally off meta build, and we still kind of trogged along and got through it, which was amazing, right? I mean, just to be able to work your way through a map like this with a build that's not traditionally as strong was a sight for sore eyes. And it did give me some of those vanilla vibes as I did play this build back in 2012. That's about 8 years ago now. So yeah, it's kind of a nice nostalgic throwback for the build. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe do a jump cut here shortly. So we're coming up on a yellow pack here, and you know, we got a lot of beams, right? And I'm doing my best to try to juke them and with Spirit Walk, and it's kind of tanky with the Helltooth set, which is what we're using with the build. Again, we're gonna get into all that nitty gritty later, right? But so this is a good example of when the map is bad, the mobs are bad, the affixes are bad. Like the build was still kind of getting through content, and that's one thing I was shocked about, is even though it's not the best, and this is off meta week, right? So just remember, you can play this. It's actually viable, and juking and putting myself in really crazy situations to prove it. Like my health is insanely low, like 600k, 550k. You know, when you're only using low stats, you don't have much to go around, right? And even though I'm moving a lot and I'm losing my buffs here and there, like I'm still able to get meaningful damage on the elite, and we're killing it. Like I'm standing right on the pivot, reading chat. So this is a good example of it's really good and I like it. I'm not saying it doesn't need a buff. It definitely needs a buff, right? It needs to be more in line with Spirit Barrage. Zombie Bear is cool, right? And it needs to be in line with the other builds for sure. You know what I'm saying? So this was a good fight to showcase with no pylons, nothing like that. Just a straight up double elite in the thick of everything, right? So you can see me spirit walking and juking through everything. And that's one reason why I wanted to take a little bit more time on the gameplay, just to kind of show you where you're at, that even though it is off meta, it's got some spice. Yo, the Zombie Bear is back from the dead. All right, Blood, you got my interest. Maybe for an alt, I'll start a Zombie Bear Witch Doctor. Now, What's new? What's actually new about this damn thing? Can you tell me, please? First of all, the Helltooth set is how you basically play Zombie Bear. It got increased to 17,000% damage, up from 9,000 damage. So what Helltooth does, it buffs basically a lot of spells, but Zombie Bear is one of them. And that's just a nice jump overall. Just good to bring up these older sets that we don't even really use anymore, just in general, you know? They also added a new item to the game, Ursa's Trodden Effigy. New Witch Doctor Legendary Affix, Mojo. Zombie Charger deals 150% increased damage, and the Zombie Bear rune now summons 8 bears that travel farther. So in the footage, you'll see tons of bears because that's from the PTR. In town, you won't see as much as you get, right? It's just because the PTR is over, so I'm kind of doing what I can with the footage. The new Mojo actually doesn't have new artwork, so that's unfortunate, but I'd rather us have bad skins and new items than no new items at all. So it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. You know, it'd be cool to have a new Mojo, like something different for transmog's sake. But if it's going to slow down the content creation of new items, then screw it. Just give us new items. In addition to a new Mojo, a buffed Helltooth set, we got a 4th slot in the cube this season. So we're able to kind of wear more things and kind of fit in more multipliers and stuff like that. You can see one reason how tanky I was is I was rocking these stone gauntlets. So that was really awesome. I was just sitting there and all that stuff, and it was really helping negate damage. A lot of people think armor is just for physical damage, but armor actually blocks all damage. So Zombie Bear has a good base, and I'm excited to see them build further in the future off of it, as it definitely has potential. Really quick, if you guys can smash that like button, I would greatly appreciate it, as these videos do take time. And of course, I'm gonna have timestamps, and there's gonna be in the timeline, you can jump around. There's like sections, like chapters. So take advantage of that, especially if you just wanna look at the talents or you wanna look at the rotation or anything in the future. Blood, what's the build power of the build? Well, as you can see, I did the 110, I actually completed it. So in terms of build power, I would say your baseline with this build would probably be like a 105. It's an off-meta build. To even do a 105 is higher than typical off-meta builds are. But with all the multipliers and the Helltooth set, I think you should easily be able to complete a 105, you know? If you put some love into your character at a high end, I could see people like around the 125, or who knows, right? I think it's entirely possible to be like up there in the high 125s, and then you have shadow clones in your favor in the 4 slot in the cube. This build definitely has potential, but it definitely needs some more juice, like I've been saying, right? So I'm trying to sell the build because it is fun. I did enjoy it, but I'm not trying to oversell it like it doesn't need a buff. You know, it's in the off meta tier, which is like B tier. All right, Blood, how do I play the build? You know, I'm at a point where I'm looking into the rotation and like, how do you actually play it? Well, the good thing is the build is hella easy to play, okay? All you gotta do is hold down zombie bears and keep up your buffs. So let me go ahead and show you here. We're gonna enter a rift. You're gonna use Jaunt to close the distance on your enemies. You're gonna hit them with Soul Harvest to give you that Lacumba stack for survivability. You're gonna keep up Horrify, which is gonna give us more armor. So you get the armor from Horrify, the armor from Soul Harvest. And then as soon as you get these 2 up, these are your this is how you're not gonna get just one tapped and killed, right? And then you're gonna hit them with Locust Swarm. That's gonna proc your Ring of Emptiness. Since it's not a pet, it works out great using zombie bears in the build, right? That's why we're not using Enforcer Gem or anything like that. And you gotta hit them with Wall of Death as well. So it's a lot of things you have to click, but it's not that hard. You can just kind of piano it every once in a while. You need to cast Wall of Death to proc your survivability from your Helltooth set, and it procs the damage as well. And then you hold down zombie bears, right? So most Witch Doctor builds have Soul Harvest, Horrify, and then probably Locust Swarm or some version of that. So this one just adds in Wall of Death also because it's part of the set. So this is what it looks like basically, is you would like Spirit Walk to close the distance, and then these are the enemies, and you'd hit them with Soul Harvest to get your 10 stack hopefully, and then Horrify to get armor, and then hit them with Locust Swarm, right? So it's ding, 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 and then you hold down Zombie Bear. And then I like to tap Wall of Death as I'm holding down Zombie Bear, and it's once every 8 seconds, right? So make sure they're being affected by Wall of Death, You might have to force stand still if you don't have an enemy, and then you just hold down Zombie Bear and that's it. And then always use Spirit Walk at the kind of the last minute when you need it the most, right? Because you can actually juke beams like you saw in the video, freaking chargers coming. If you see a charger getting ready to go, just Spirit Walk and it won't do any damage to you, you know? It basically is one of the most amazing survivability tools, as you can be invulnerable to damage for 3 seconds with Jaunt. And you can still DPS on top of that. So it's amazing, right? So yeah, don't mind the frozen orb. This is a different build I was messing with. Don't look at that. Any breakpoints or anything like that will be in the build itself once I finalize everything. It's still kind of a work in progress, like I was saying earlier. But you don't need any fancy breakpoints or anything, especially with Grave Injustice and things like that. And you get with the Scrimshaw, it's not even 50% anymore. It's 75% to get reduced resource costs with the Scrimshaw. So you really don't need any resource, and you got the captain and the cooldown in case the server is down and you can't access my website or the builds because there's too much traffic. Hopefully the YouTube is up and then you can see what to build here, right? So this is Ring of Emptiness with Invigorating Gemstone. Make sure to build double crit, cooldown, RCR everywhere for now. Compass Rose, Traveler's Pledge. Here's the build. Jaunt, Languish, Frightening, Cloud, Communicating, Zombie Bears, right? And Stone Gauntlets is probably really important in terms of just that baseline survivability. And this is the new item, Ursa's. This is just a world drop, so you can upgrade level 70 mojos to get it. You can just grind and get it. I think it's a level 70 item, so you can get it early as well, so don't look for that. It says Ursa is a level 60 item, so yeah, you're probably not going to get it while leveling or anytime soon. And the Scrimshaw is kind of easy to get. There's only 2 spears, so it's a one-headed spear for Witch Doctor. You have a 1 in 2 chance to get it. And you can see that this website has the updated version. It's actually 75%, and then it can hit up to 6 to 7 times. So it's really easy to land a 7 times weapon, and there's only a 1 in 2 chance to get it. So you probably see a lot of people with primals if they're going to play Zombie Bear, or just really good ancients, right? As it's not too hard to get whatsoever. Overall, very happy with the build, just in terms of it literally went from 0 to hero, right? It went from nothing to something. And Diablo 3 has a lot of spells in the game that are underutilized, a lot of builds, a lot of old builds that can be brought back from the dead, for lack of a better term, right? Like a Zombie Bear, to be used all over again. A lot of assets here, and this is an incredible step in the right direction for Blizzard. The fact that I can even do an off-meta week, because I feel inspired, because we have other builds to do. So I'm gonna try to get out a video every day or every other day until the season comes out. We finally found out that the season is on the 20th. That sucks big time for people that are into Shadowlands like me, but I'm definitely gonna play Diablo launch weekend and all season long, or at least for like a couple months into the season. But I might do split streams. We'll see how it goes. I really want to play Shadowlands and season 22, so I'm gonna probably just split my time and play both like I did when Classic came out. But yeah, thank you guys for all the love on the videos. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, if you have any ideas for off-meta builds that I can make. And that's all for me today. Peace.